1, 2. What? I need more than that. Everybody grab your phones. If you're not a follower of Empowering Pastors, please become one today on Facebook. I'd like to welcome everybody to Empowering Pastors and Leaders. And whether you are in the ministry or you're running a company, these principles are ones that will always enhance and build and strengthen the vision that God has birthed within you. So whether you're in ministry, that is the reaching of souls and growing God's people, becoming a discipler, or if you're a business person, listen, your job as business person is to build the kingdom of God and to have godly influence in the community. So we're all doing the same thing. And today I want to talk to, and we've been on a series of the relationship between the senior pastor and other members of the staff. And today I want to bring in our administrators. So the relationship between the senior pastor and the administrator. Will you welcome with me, Brittany?
Hello, hello.
We love Brittany. Brittany, how many years you been here?
7.
How many years on, that's full-time?
Yeah.
Wow, 7 years.
Been coming here for 10.
Been coming here for 10. Wow. So she is the brains of his tabernacle. She makes the wheels turn. She plays a not small role, but a massive role, and it's one that's usually not seen. At times, do you ever feel like unappreciated?
When I first started working here, yes. But that was just because, my relationship with the Lord wasn't, where it is now.
You'll find that as an administrator, you're not usually seen often. But your job is pinnacle. And without it, the flow cannot happen. Now, one of the main principles of being a great leader is recognizing not only your strengths, but your weaknesses. If a leader does not recognize their weaknesses, then what ends up happening is they're constantly failing in that area under their own perception that they're good at that portion of the job. It's almost like a singer that can't sing. They think they're good. Everybody else knows they're bad. So we want to make sure that as a leader, you know your skill. And for me, I'll just be honest, my skill is I'm a great bread guy, but I'm a bad peanut butter and jelly guy. What does that mean? As the bread guy, I make part of the sandwich. But to get the inner stuff going, man, I can give you the vision on both ends. But to get the stuff, the peanut butter and jelly in the middle, that's my challenge. So Brittany, to me, is not a small person. Brittany, to me, is a large person because she enhances my weaknesses. I learned this a long time ago, and I think Ronald Reagan was a great example. He was not the most brilliant president, but his brilliance was surrounding himself with people that enhanced his weaknesses. So if you are able to get people around you to strengthen where you're weak, you will always find that you will be seen as strong. And so that is the goal. So for me, it's administrator. Give me an overview of what you do for work.
So for administration, I'm kind of like the information center of the church, just always knowing what's going on in each department, making sure there's fluidity between the departments, making sure everybody kind of knows what's going on at the church. That's kind of just a small portion, but
that and it sounds little, but it is huge.
Yes.
How many departments do we have in our church?
A lot. I can't think of it right off my hand.
So more than 5?
Yes, definitely more than 5.
More than 10?
Yes.
So more than 15?
No, maybe.
Nope. We have, I think, 12 major departments in our structure, and as structure, your structure is extremely important for the flow and of authority and of accomplishing. So what we do here at His Tabernacle is we have the pastor and the oversight, and then you have the trustee board, and then you have your executive pastor. Your executive pastor branches off to, I believe we have 12 different departments, and every one of those departments, their responsibility is to only communicate lateral or up. They are not communicating lower and cross. So our goal is to make sure that we are not crossing sections. Now, a great fixer of that is Brittany. So Brittany makes sure that the 12 are all strengthened. They all have the information. They all have the direction. And then what happens with the main portion of the structure or the 12 departments is they will interface with each other without crossing down the other person's lines, which brings confusion. So Brittany plays a massive role in making sure that each department is sustained but also increasing. So give us an example. A department has an activity they want to do. What happens?
So the process would be to look at the church calendar, see what dates are available, times are available, if the teams are available for it, submit the request, either gets approved or denied, and then they start planning everything out, what they need for each department.
So are they using paper now, or what are they using for a program?
Online. We have a paper option, but it's all online now through Planning Center.
Through Planning Center. So have you found Planning Center to have the best forms, or do we create our own forms?
No, Planning Center has everything that we need within it, like room request, team requests, that type of stuff. It's all.
Give me an example of what would be on the piece of paper for a request of an activity.
Time, date, location. If they need like tables, chairs, what type of stuff they need.
Media.
Yeah, media, the different teams, worship, kids ministry. Do they need childcare for it? Do they need a van for it? That type of stuff.
So all of those things are on there. And if they're off campus, then they usually have to have an insurance binder. Is that correct?
If we're doing it at like what do you mean?
A location. So you have to have insurance?
Yeah. So if we're doing it at like a park, the park will request, hey, we need this type of insurance. So then we would go to our insurance company and say, hey, we need this for this event. And then they would send the form over for us.
How do you get the departments to work together to where, so someone needs worship, they've requested worship. How do you work that to where they are working together as a team?
I think for like all the major events, we kind of just work that out in staff meeting. But for smaller events, it's all through Planning Center, like making sure that the request is in there and that they've communicated among each other like what they need. So
they communicate. Where are you in that process?
Most of the time, I'm not really needed in the process because the process works. But there are times where somebody didn't put a request in, so then, someone from worship is like, hey, what's going on? So then I have to go to the other person and, hey, you didn't put this request in. Like, what do you need? You need to make sure you put that in, and making sure that they're actually following the process.
Why is all that important?
We don't want to show up to an event and nobody knows what's going on. Chaos is not fun. It doesn't look good to whoever we're having come to the event. It's just important. That's what literally Jesus did.
So administration plays a large role on an everyday experience. Mm-hmm. Give me a normal day.
A normal day.
And how it works. Is there such thing as a normal day?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Give me a stressful day.
A stressful day?
Give me a stressful day's calendar.
I would come into work and I don't know, like something would be different than what I was expecting, I guess. Like you would come in and say, hey, we're not going to do this. Or, hey, we need this done today. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just put everything else at the bottom of my list and put that up there.
So what's your relationship between the senior pastor and you? Is it tough at times? Am I a tough?
I don't think it's too tough. There's been moments where it's been a little tough, but most of the time it's not bad.
Give me an example when I was tough. Makes me feel better.
Makes you feel better. Probably like parades are a big one, because you'll say, hey, I want it to be flashy and I want it to be big. And then I'll say, what do you want? I want it to be flashy and I want it to be big. Okay, so then I do what I think is flashy and big. And then you get there and you're like, yeah, no, we need more balloons or we need more of this before the next one. Oh, okay.
Or everybody go home.
Yes, we've had that too.
Had that happen too.
Yeah, generator broke that one time.
Yep, generator broke.
Like 5 minutes into the parade and you're like, nope,
Go home.
cancel. Okay.
Who or what do you think a great challenge for the administration is with the team?
I think not everybody like has an administrative mindset or has somebody on their team who kind of thinks in that way. So I guess just I need to like focus on like what my expectations are of them and like realize that like they're not all administratively gifted, and like I just have to have grace and, you know, be open that like they're not always going to remember everything or know how to do everything.
What was one of the most difficult events you put on because of the lack of details?
Most difficult?
And I'm talking like people-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have some people that are better or worse?
You want me to name them?
Sure. Do
I'm not going to name them.
you have some people that are better or worse?
Yes.
Where are they worse?
Like?
In what skill? What capacity?
Probably just the use of planning center, communication, that type of thing.
So you've mentioned planning center multiple times.
Yeah.
How important is that to your job?
Very important. Because if it's not like on the calendar, I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So, and there's been multiple times where like all of a sudden 2 people are trying to set up the same room for a different event. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know because this person didn't put it on the calendar. And, you know, just having to
So how did
fix
you
those
work
problems.
through that kind of situation?
We just have to move them to a different room and
Okay.
just let them know, like, hey, sorry, we overlooked this. People are pretty
Pretty good?
yeah, pretty good with it.
Have you ever felt disrespected?
Not really with administration, no.
No?
No.
Working with me, because I'm not really strongly administrative, not that I've not gotten better,
Yeah, no, you have.
what do you think your difficulty with me would be as a senior pastor?
A difficulty with you. I think that you just like to see results, but we don't always know what exactly that looks like.
So better communication. How could you get that better communication from me?
Asking you prior to whatever the situation is, like what exactly do you want?
So have you done that?
I have. Sometimes you say that you don't know, that you just want it to be good. Big and
awesome and flashy.
Yes, yes.
I like flashy.
You do like flashy.
I do like flashy. That's why all the paint on my motorcycle has usually been really extreme. So what questions would you have for me as administrator to a senior pastor, or the people that are watching? What do you think would help them understand your position, or how they would work with their administrator, or how the administrator would work with their pastor? What could you give them as advice?
I think communication is like the key. If you're not communicating with your leader and you don't know what their expectations are or what they want, then you're going to end up doing something that they don't want. And they're going to become frustrated or think that you're not doing your job well. So I think communication is the most important thing. And then obviously communication among departments is just super important.
So that would be your suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give them as a suggestion to accomplish that?
Use multiple forms of communication, text message, email, face-to-face, on paper, in planning center, whatever it might be.
So many ways.
Yeah.
What happens if that doesn't occur, like the many ways? Do you think that people drop the ball often, or?
Yeah, I would say so.
You would say they do? What do you have to do to help them not drop the ball as administrator?
Communication.
Communication.
Yeah.
So do you just hold them to what they filled out in planning center? Is that mainly what you do? Look at, this is what you filled out, this is what I expect, this is what you need, where are you missing things, and how can I help?
Yeah, for the most part, it's through planning center. Unless it's like a department that doesn't always use planning center.
Are there
to its full
departments that
capacity.
don't always use planning center?
Yes.
Which departments would they be?
They already know who they are.
I'm just trying to find out myself. Is it they don't like planning center, or they don't like to do the paperwork?
I don't think it's that they don't like to. I think it's just like they're very focused on what they're doing and that they don't always remember that they have to do those things.
Then what do you got to say to them?
I tell them to do it.
What
Or
if they don't?
remind them, like, hey, you didn't do this. Make sure you do it next time.
What if they don't?
I will remind them again.
What if they don't?
They usually do after a few times.
Okay. So one last bit of advice from administrator to administrator. What would it be?
Keep going. Things will get tough. You'll have moments where you want to quit. I've had many moments where I've wanted to quit.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't had one in a while, so that's good.
That
It's
is
very good. I had them a lot when I first started. I even wrote it up once.
Did you really?
I'm leaving in 2 weeks. That's what it said. But no, just keep going. Just remember, put the main thing, and that's Jesus and his people. And just remember that you're an important part of the church and the part of the kingdom, and that you can't let small things be big things when they don't need to be.
And as a pastor, what I would say to the pastors is once you get a good administrator, which we have, and I think my staff will agree with that Brittany is absolutely amazing. And once you get a good administrator, treat them well. Because you don't want to have to get somebody else. You don't want to have to retrain. You don't want to have to redevelop. You don't want to have to start all over again. And so we just love Brittany. We honor Brittany. We respect Brittany. And we are so blessed to have her. That's you, by the way. So blessed to have her on our team. And she really is the neck that turns the head. She makes the things occur to make sure that there isn't conflict, that there isn't catastrophe. And we're very, very blessed to have you. And I just want to say thank you publicly for being our administrator at His Tabernacle Family Church.
You're welcome, and thank you.
You're welcome. She just told me today that she's wanting to take a salary reduction. So I was very excited about that.
Anything for the kingdom.
You know, come on now. But honestly, Pastor, you want to honor your administrator. Don't be a jerk to your administrator. Love them, respect them, because even though they might not hit every benchmark that you have for them, to have a great administrator, they are so hard to find. Because it is not just, as Brittany said, not just the factor of keeping everything in order, but it is also the factor of them loving Jesus and loving his kingdom. And when they're kingdom-minded, then they'll always grow and do great things. So I just want to say thank you. I know this was a shorter session, but I just wanted to say thank you for being with us. And I pray that this series, and we have a few more to go, this series will be a blessing to you, to where you can go back, reflect, and be able to acquire, or if you would have a need to ask, you can always call the church office at 607-739-5196 and connect your administrator with our administrator. I think that is a great key, is allowing our administrators to network, because they only know what they know. So if you will allow your administrator or direct your administrator to connect with Brittany, again, 607-739-5196, then I think that they could talk and they can grow from each other and create a network of administrators within the body of Christ, the kingdom of God, to be able to make sure that fluidity is the norm and not rigidity. So thank you so much for being with us. Have an awesome day, and God bless you.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowering Pastors and Leaders with Dr. Micheal Spencer. If you're looking for helpful, life-changing, and empowering resources, Dr. Micheal Spencer's books are available here. Just click on the link below and get your copies today. Don't wait. These resources will bring about the change and success you've been looking for. If you'd like to know more about empowering pastors and leaders, please visit michealspencerministries.com. Also, if you'd like to become a partner with Empowering Pastors and Leaders, sign up online for the opportunity to do so. Thank you in advance for your financial support to help us reach into the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and Africa, and the different parts of the world. Empowering Pastors and Leaders will equip you to transform your personal life, ministry, or business to become the best leader God designed for you to be. Invest in yourself today and be the most effective leader you've ever been.